Hello, what is up? Hopefully you can hear me. Doug Cunnington here. This is a live Q&A Friday session. Welcome. And let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know where you're from. Oh, I can hear myself there. So that is a good sign. So yeah, just give me a shout in the chat. Say hello. And let me know where you're from. Let me know if it's your first time on one of these sessions. As normal, we'll go through a couple quick announcements and just things I want to talk about until the questions start rolling in. There were a few questions that were indeed sent in over the past few days. So we'll all have a look at those for sure. And welcome everyone if you're just tuning in. Let's see if I can go over these a couple little announcements. So no one's in the chat yet, but sometimes it takes a second for things to get rolling here. So the quick announcements. So number one, in the description, there's a few links that I would like to point out. Number one is the frequently asked questions link. And as you can imagine, there are frequently asked questions in there. There will be times today in this very session where I will give a brief answer. Sometimes I know for a fact there's an FAQ listed there. So I'll just say, hey, get some more details from the FAQ, just because it's more well thought out and there's more detail there. In fact, the FAQ section is great just to take a look at, especially if it's your first time. We got to have AT reviews, Jack from Jacksonville, cool, right on. So basically, you'll get a lot of good ideas if you go read the FAQ. I have listed the productivity course, which I've launched on a very small scale a couple times in the past, but I typically probably 3 times a week, someone just emails me and asks about either productivity or something about project management or how I structure my work or something like that. And I got enough questions from it that I actually created a full course on it, and I think it's pretty good. So have a look at it. It's not super in depth as far as like project management from like a proper corporate sense or a PMP perspective, but it can give you some good ideas like about being productive. The other thing is the guest posting service. So that is actually closed right now, but people do ask about that all the time. I think I'm going to open it up every like month or 6 weeks or so, something like that. There's only so many customers that I can work with at one time. So it's sort of based on that. And we have Herman Shu, and then we have Alex, what's up? We got Brewcrafter, Mark, what's going on? You got a new YouTube channel, very cool. And Monique, hey, what's going on? I've seen a few of your comments recently, and Jaron, of course. So next, we have a couple other things in the announcement section, just other links in there. So if you're brand new, definitely check out the niche site process. That's sort of like, I think it's like 90 pages. When I like moved it over to a PDF, it's a long section of, or a long piece of content broken into sections, that is. And it kind of gives you an overview and a framework to organize how you're going to work on a site. And a couple playlists there. And yeah, so we can start getting to some questions here. We have L, Medi, what's up? You didn't miss anything, just some announcements, which I'll talk about as we hit sort of quiet spots. I'll just talk about them again and again and again. We have Nabby and Guitar. What's up? Good to have everyone on. And I see some questions rolling in. And thanks to Jaron, who is a moderator. You see the blue people with a little wrench next to their name. They're moderators. So thanks for helping out and making sure things don't go crazy in the chat. All right. So a couple questions that were sent in. Let me look. Now, I will point out to everyone here, anyone watching. So you can go now to the community tab on my channel. And that's where I'm trying to ask questions, ask people to ask questions. And I'm trying to post there a little bit more often. I'm treating it like a social area. Okay. So a couple questions that were added here. How many affiliate links can I put into a post? Like, what's the max number I can put into a post? So, like I do with a lot of questions, I'm going to point out a better way to ask it, because obviously I understand what the person's trying to ask. But let's say I just gave you a number and said 50 affiliate links. Well, that's not really helpful because it depends on how long your article is and a few other factors too. I don't even know all the factors, but the point is, it's not a good question in that it's not super helpful, because if I just gave you some answer, you'd think, hey, 50, and let's say you have an article that's you know 1,000 words long, and you put 50 affiliate links, like that may be too many. That's a lot of affiliate links, but it's not crazy that, I mean, you can end up with a whole lot of affiliate links if you use, say, like a table. You put like 2 or 3 affiliate links per product in a table with 10 products. All of a sudden, you have a lot of affiliate links. All right. So the point is, a better way to ask that is, how many affiliate links should you have per 1,000 words, for example, or some threshold like that, right? You want to give a range. So the answer that I gave, this person asked in the live training yesterday, which I have a story about that I'll tell later. The way I look at it is, if you have the right person, right, on your page, you have the right visitor with buyer's intent, you don't have to put too many affiliate links. In fact, when I go to a page and I see like way too many affiliate links, I get a bad feeling about it. Buttons, calls to action, like all these different affiliate links, it's not a good thing. And the reason why you don't want to have too many affiliate links is because Google doesn't like it. They could tell it's an affiliate link, and they potentially will like demote your site with the rankings. It won't necessarily be a penalty, but it's not a good thing to do. So what's the answer? Basically, I like to have like one affiliate link per maybe like 100 to 250 words, something like that. So if you have a 1,000-word article, maybe you have like 4 to 10 affiliate links, something like that. And I think less is more. And I try not to put too many affiliate links. I'd rather have a strong call to action for that. Okay. Next we have, I'm going to say hello to all the new folks that hopped in. So Elmedi, you got Robert from Mississippi, Nabby, you got guitar, Lance is on What's Up. Jaron says, anything I do with my sites to prep them for the holiday season other than write new buyer keyword content? No, I really don't do too much. So a couple things, I actually was looking at a couple like topics coming up soon, and I'm probably going to publish something on it. So there's a couple things that you can do, and that would be to maybe spice up the title a little bit and say like best ballpoint pen for the holidays, something like that. And then maybe rewrite the intro a little bit just so it's qualified for a gift buyer. The great ballpoint pen gift sets or something like that, right? So if you can like reframe it a little bit just in the intro, you don't have to go crazy. That could be a helpful way to like get a little bit more traction in certain areas. However, I don't do that. I don't do that, but you can. As far as like Black Friday, I mean, I have heard people do some experiments on trying to basically like rank for like Black Friday deal type keywords specific to their niche. And from my perspective, it's not really a good use of time. So the couple experiments that I've heard of, maybe I've heard like 3 people in mastermind groups in the past, and essentially it was like they couldn't see an appreciable difference when like Black Friday or the holiday season rolled around, because just in general, if you're ranking for a term like all year long, you're probably going to keep ranking for it and get the traffic like in the retail season. So that's the overall answer. Again, thanks to all the moderators. You have Furhan, Lance as well. Rosie says 15 words for a KGR article is fine. Are over 2,000 is better. I think maybe you mean or. It depends. I would say probably more words is better if you are adding helpful content. All right, Andy's on what's up. And feel free to keep asking questions. I'm going to go back in a few moments and just remind people about some of the other announcements. If you have the opportunity, please do hit the like button, little thumbs up. I would appreciate it, especially if I answer your question. All right. Brewcrafter says, question for email. Do I have a recommended plugin or service for capturing emails? And how often do I recommend reaching out to the list? All right. So I like to use Opt-in Monster. That's just one that I've used for a while. And I like the service in general. And I find that the pop-ups work well. But I mean, really, it doesn't matter. Like at this point, it's kind of like hosting or a theme. Like I view it as like a commodity. It really doesn't matter. Most of the services, as long as you're paying a reasonable price, will have a solid like set of templates that you can use. They'll have pop-ups that are pretty smart. Like it's pretty much, like I said, like hosting, where it really doesn't matter that much as long as it works. So I would just pick one, learn how to use it, and move forward. What I don't like is a service like, at this point, I don't like Sumo, because they started with like a freemium model. I mean, I respect the business model. They started with a freemium model and then like slowly started adding more stuff. And then the problem with a service like that is it reminds me of like the phone companies and like telecommunications in general. They try and bundle all the stuff together. So Sumo has like an analytics package, a sharing app. There's all this other crap you can add on there. And then at some point you end up like a telecommunications company, you end up with like a phone service and then cable and then your internet all through the same company. And they kind of have you stuck there because you've bundled everything together. So I don't like bundling as much as possible. So anyway, you can just pick one. And then how often should you reach out to them? Once a week is probably pretty good. You don't want to go like a super long time, but you could just pick an interval. If you want to do it once a week, if you want to do it 2 weeks, if you want to do it a month, that's fine. And you could just make sure you're consistent. That's a good thing to do. For the brew stuff, I mean, I would imagine like doing it once a week and just like having like sharing a beer and just like, most of it just being value and fun. That's a good way to look for it, or that's a good way to do it. And people would be looking for that information. Okay. Auto 24/7, you were searching for keywords for your site and you found a keyword like shoes for men. It has e-commerce and Amazon. Should I go for this? Well, you know what? I have no idea because I don't know anything else about your site. But if you're just telling me this tiny piece of information, I would say no. Shoes for men and then it's e-commerce and Amazon, I would not go for it because it doesn't sound like your site is probably in the same class. Always on, what's up? Good to have you on. Robert, should you use no follow for affiliate links? You heard that Google might penalize a site with a ton of affiliate links. That is true. You can get a penalty for a ton of affiliate links, but I think it's like an overall issue with your site. So if you just have a lot of affiliate links, you're probably not going to get a penalty. You may just have crappy rankings. Should you use no follow? I don't think it matters anymore. There was a time like 8 years ago or 10 years ago where Google couldn't figure out, the affiliate links, but now they know, and you don't have to list them as no follow because Google understands. That said, if you put a ton of affiliate links and let's say you put 50 of them, like I said, for like a short article, and then you make them no follow, I don't think that's going to like save you. I think that's still an issue. All right. Monique said some affiliate marketers recommend creating a resource page, but you're concerned that Google will see it as spammy and penalize you for having so many links on one page. What's your opinion? So I don't think so. I mean, a lot of sites have a resource page, but if you want to like completely eliminate the risk that you're afraid of. By the way, I don't think that's a valid concern, but you could just no index that page, and that's fine. Okay, and then AT reviews. What's up? Okay, this is a good one. I was going to do this question, and this person sent me an email earlier, and I was like, "Hey, why don't you come to the live stream and I'll answer it?" So great, thanks for doing that. And I try to answer emails, but I just get a lot of them, and sometimes it's like, yeah, you know what? I just get like 4 a day, and they're asking like a simple question, and I just don't have time to send that many emails. I try to, but sometimes there's a long delay. The best way is to ask it in a forum such as this one. So like instead of one person getting a one-on-one help and a benefit just for them, everyone knows. So the question is, would I reveal the money site to writers while they write, or keep things anonymous and generic with the writers regarding the niche and topic in hand? Well, let me ask you this. What's your concern with that? So my answer is it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want, which is like the answer to many things. You could do whatever you want. If you are concerned that I know what the concern will be, but I just wanted to double check, and I'll wait for your answer there, Jack. Appreciate it. But basically, you can do whatever you want. You can let them know or not know. Sometimes a writer wants to know the site so they can see like the tone of the writing, and then they'll have a better understanding on what the tone should be. However, you can just not tell them if you don't want to, and just say like, "Hey, you're a ghostwriter. You're not credited." Blah blah blah. All right, quick reminder here. If you have the opportunity to hit the thumbs up and like the video, that's helpful. Looks like if I'm answering your question, you should definitely do it. All right. We have Jill on. What's up? We have Wrestling Empire. We have Steven. What's going on? Duke as well. Otto. Cool. All right. I'm going to keep going here with some of the other questions. All right. And Jack's real concern is like, hey, are the writers going to steal my idea? And potentially they could. But I mean, the fact is there's a lot of moving parts. So just because someone knows your site and they look at it all, it doesn't mean that they can like just all of a sudden like copy your site. In fact, it's pretty unlikely. Again, there's so many moving pieces that that's only just a small piece of the puzzle. Mehdi says, what, in my point of view, what do I think is better? A call to action button or a link in a text, like a name of the product? Are those my only two options? If you're only giving me those two options, the answer is it depends. So I think I like a call to action with a text link, but without a button. But it's totally up to you. And I think there are cases where a button is going to perform better, or cases where, you know, the text link is going to perform better. I generally use just text links personally, but there's no like right or wrong answer. And I'm sure if you looked, you could find case studies and experiments that support both sides. All right. So, okay, let's see. Otto says, what are my thoughts on automated news sites with a mix of original content? I don't have any real thoughts on it. I think anything automated is probably not going to be very useful, because that means you're probably using some plugin or tool, and then you're probably like, anyone can do it. So if anyone can do it, anyone will do it, and then it will be basically like worthless. So I would just say stick with the original content, and that'll probably be better. Also, since I don't know about, this is how I would go about this. Since I don't have any experience in that area, Otto, what you should do is go try and find sites that are using the business model that you're suggesting and they're successful. If you can't find any of them, it probably won't work. If there is a tool which someone is telling you that you should buy to do this automated news site thing, then they're probably just trying to sell you a product that doesn't work. That is typically how things go. Oh, and I think I missed a question like way up top here. Let me go back. Sorry if okay. Hermanshu says, why are many digital marketers turning to digital marketing teachers? That is a great question. I think a lot of people like to teach, right? So I'm doing this because I enjoy like sharing the knowledge. Also, if you can like teach other people like a topic, it usually means you understand it really well because you've had to go through the process of like deconstructing it and then like reconstructing it so other people can learn from it. So if you can teach someone something, and I think I need to like check my facts on this, but I'm pretty sure there's a like teaching, method like you learn on your own. Maybe you use the information to do something and then you teach other people. Like once you could teach other people the topic, you really know a lot about it. There's like no question about it. So I think that's one aspect. The other is like it's a good way to diversify in a real way, like real diversity, like where you're making money, right? So for example, some people think, actually, I'll ask the question and then I'll make my point afterwards. I'd like to hear from the chat here. And if you're watching later, thanks. You could leave a comment as well. So here's the thing. Some people think, I'll rephrase it to a yes or no question. So do you think that having 10 different Amazon affiliate sites helps you diversify in an effective way? It's a yes or no question, so just let me know in the chat, and I'll come back and answer that. Okay. And Fahad says, how to start Amazon affiliate marketing. You're in luck, my friend. All you have to do is scroll down into the description in the part where it says learn the niche site process, follow that, and then read it. If you have any questions, you can come back and ask questions. All right. Wrestling Empire, how much time does it take for Google to index our site? It depends. It seems to be like super fast these days, like just a day or two for most pages if you publish them. If you want to make sure, you can just go to the Search Console, fetch your pages that you want to make sure are indexed, and then fetch and index it. That's all you have to do. All right, AJ, what's up? You're new here. Welcome. Thanks for hopping on. William says, you have a question. Did I use 50-50 in the 200 article? Okay, did I use 50-50 informational to money, like product review in my 200 article post niche site? Okay, so that's a content sprint. William is referring to a time when I published a bunch of content. The answer is no. It was more like probably like 80% product reviews. All right. Probably 80%, something like that. And then later on, I trued it up and published a lot more content that was informational. Okay. Pastor Duke says, the problem with a resource page is that it takes one more click before people go to the affiliate links. Income School recommended it, but then again, they have troubles getting Amazon revenue. Okay. And here's the thing. I was answering that as a general question. So if you go to Niche Site Project, I have a resource page. If you go to Pat Flynn's site, Smart Passive Income, there's a resource page, and on and on and on. A lot of sites have a resource page. If you're talking about an Amazon affiliate site, I don't have a resource page, right? I would never put in a resource page because no one cares about your site. No one cares about the resources that you're using. No one cares about the products you recommend. People are probably landing on your page via like a Google search that's hopefully product focused, maybe how to. They land on your page, they read some stuff, and they go to Amazon. no one's clicking around to your about page, or I mean, very few people, very, very few. So if you're asking about an Amazon affiliate site, it doesn't really matter. If you want to try it, that's fine. If you're concerned that you may get penalized because you have that, then don't put it on. If you have any concern, don't do it, because it's just not, no one's looking at your resource page. All right. Derek's on, what's up? Okay. So Jack says the reason you are asking is that writers typically share their articles to the next employers and so on. We might make unnecessarily, okay, so you may be sharing the site when you don't want to. Okay, so if you're concerned about that, you could just say, in the job posting, you could say, you can't share this as a reference. You can't use this as your portfolio. And you can make it clear when you're hiring them that that is part of the agreement. And then if you see that they've shared it on Upwork, for example, then you could just tell them, hey, it's in the agreement that you can't share it. So no problem there. I have seen some people share like other sites on there. So you just make it clear it's not part of their portfolio. And, yeah. Okay. And Otto says, I skipped your question, but I'm pretty sure I answered it. Sometimes I miss them. So I'm doing my best here, but feel free to ask again. Wrestling Empire, how much money do I expect a niche site to earn after a year with 30 to 40 articles? I know it's hard to tell. It is hard to tell, but assume that they're $100 each. You just want an idea. Answer is still okay. The other assumption I must make is you're doing everything 100% right or 0% right. Those are the two options. Chances are you're not doing either one of those. So if you didn't get anything right, you will make 0, and that is not likely, but it can happen. So you can make 0. The other one is, okay, so 30 to 40 articles, $100 each after a year. I'm thinking I'll give you a range here. And I will say between $1,000 and $4,000. But it depends. You could be making $10,000. It's really hard to tell. I want to recommend that you take a look at video. I think it's like something like the timeline for the first $100. And I talk about, I think, like the first 6 months and the trajectory that you might see. All right. Kong says, what are my thoughts on link placement on old post? Can you be more specific? I don't really understand. Are you talking about link building to your site? Are you talking about placing links on posts already there? Just need to clarify your question there. All right, Rosie says, do I recommend the silo internal linking strategy? No. All right, Exclusive says, can you copy a Amazon product review or product feature to your site? I don't recommend that. No. I don't recommend that. I think basically here you can sort of take this idea and transfer it to everywhere in your life. Basically, if you're trying to take a shortcut or if you're trying to copy other stuff, like, it's a bad idea. So you may be able to get away with it for a little while, but it's never going to really work out. So don't do that. Okay. I don't know how to say the name there. EAD says, what's the actual startup cost for a complete newbie trying to learn about Amazon affiliate sites? I think that if you follow the FAQ, I probably go into it. It's as little as I would say like $200 or so, like $150, $200. So you don't need to pay for hosting. Maybe you want to get a theme. There's a couple tools that you may want to use that are like a paid keyword research tool just to make things go a little faster. And then maybe you want to pay for an article or two just to start hiring freelancers, or it can be as expensive as you want it to be. Basically, you can spend, $20,000 on content and outreach and all that kind of stuff, but generally, I recommend about $150, $200 or so to get started over the course of like a few weeks. And then if you want to, maybe hire a writer to write like, say, 2 articles per month or something like that, maybe you're writing some other portions of it, maybe that'll be another $50 per month for a couple months, right? So it's not a huge outlay. All right, Otto says you're watching on a phone. There's no thumbs up button. Anyone know how to get to the thumbs up thing on if you're watching on the phone? I think like you have to like turn your phone vertical, and then you can see more of the description and all that stuff. But thanks for mentioning it. Okay. People are asking about diversifying. Yes, you're providing you do it over a sensible period of time, and maybe not 10 though, like 3 to 4. Rosie says a portfolio of sites. All right. And okay, cool. Let me go back to what I was saying before. And as we're chilling, I'm going to go back to announcements in just a second. Feel free to keep writing questions. Thanks a lot to the moderators again. So here's the deal. Basically, I don't believe it's like true diversification. If you have like, let's say it's 10 sites, and your traffic source is Google, and then your monetization is Amazon. Because if you have any issues, if there's an algorithm change, which happen all the time, you have an issue, right? That's a risk point. We don't control the affiliate program. You can be asked to leave basically for no reason. That's usually not the case, by the way, but Amazon has a lot of flexibility on who they allow in. So you can be following most of the rules and you could be asked to leave. Sometimes you can get back in, stuff like that. But the point is, in my opinion, it's not real diversification if like you have the same traffic source and same monetization. If you had something different, again, the driver for this question was actually about, I'm not saying a portfolio of sites is a bad idea, but it's not truly diversified. I've had friends where like all of their sites go down. So they go from like doing really well, making $20,000 a month to like, $200 a month, because it's not really diversification. Diversification would be having a truly like different business model. So info products where it's not supported by, like in my case, I have an email list and I really don't get that much organic traffic. And, I make very little directly from like the YouTube channel. I started adding a few ads here and there, but it's like nominal. It's very nominal. Mostly, I do this to, teach other people. And then at some point, like now that the channel is getting a little bit bigger and I've been doing it for long enough, people are reaching out to do like collabs and stuff like that, which is the position I was in like a year ago, which I mean, I'm happy to do them. Anyway, so in my opinion, it's not really diversifying if you're just like replicating the business model over and over again. Again, not a bad idea, but it's just not really diversified. Okay. Next, all right, Brewcrafter says you have a couple of KGR posts that are pretty short. You rank somewhere 1 to 3, and you found that you're also getting a lot of impressions from keywords that you didn't use. Any risk to update to include those as well? No, that's actually a really good idea, and that's a great way. Like, listen to the data, right? People are searching for it. They're finding stuff on your content, and then you can make it better with specific stuff that they want to know about. Okay, Alwyn says, okay, good note here. So Alwyn says, if I want the channel to grow faster, and he's directing it at the audience at large here. If we want the channel to grow faster, leave comments on the videos and make sure to watch them all because they're golden. Thanks. And yeah, per my previous comment before, like I wanted to do like more YouTube videos, which then I really like went pretty hard on it. But yeah, I haven't been like super, I haven't been able to grow as fast as like some other channels, which is interesting. But I think, there's certain pieces that are really important that I don't do a good job on. Comments is one of them. Shorter form content. I mean, we've been going for like 30 minutes here. So my shorter videos are, not as popular. Okay. All right. Curious Devil, what's up? All right. As we're going down here, I got to catch up. Got a lot of chat going on. All right. And Mehdi says, in your previous question, you asked about a button and a text link, and I asked if those are the only options. What are the other alternatives? Basically, anything you want. I mean, the point is, you gave me two choices, but there are many other choices. Like I think I mentioned, you can have a text link that is not the name of the product. It can be a call to action. You don't have to use a button. So maybe there's not a super long list, but there's a lot of ways that you can have an affiliate link, and you are limiting yourself to two for no reason. Mark says you're an Amazon affiliate, you use Facebook, but you're getting no buys. Okay. I don't really think that you'll be able to do very well on Facebook in general. I'm not sure how you're using it. My general motto, and I recommend you take a look, Mark, at the niche site process. I'm pointing at the LinkedIn there, but you can't see it. I'm looking at organic traffic from Google, like search traffic, where people are searching for something related to buying a product. If you're on Facebook, I mean, generally people are not shopping. I don't go to Facebook to actually, I try not to go to Facebook at all, but people don't go to Facebook to make a purchase. They go there to get distracted and look up their ex-girlfriends or boyfriends and then see what they're doing, and they're hanging out with their kids or something, and you see all that stuff. So people are not going to Facebook to buy stuff, in my opinion. But I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. Monique says it's a valid point. Doug, the affiliate site is related to something where a resource page would get more interest. You might test it. Cool. Yeah, testing is always the right way to go. Owen says work on one big authority site. Cool. There's this interlinking technique that something publishing is doing. Does that sort of interlinking work? I don't know any details. I don't know whatever the publishing thing is, so I am not sure. All right, and thanks for the folks that love the channel. We got to get more likes. It looks like we're slowly growing here. By the way, if people are watching, do what Alwayne said and leave comments on a bunch of videos, and I'll watch them all. That'll be awesome if you watch them all. And let's see if that actually works. Okay. Curious Devil. I'm doing great today. One of your affiliate blogs got hit by Penguin because someone made fishy PBN links to your site, and sadly you weren't monitoring. And now many keywords are out of Google, and some are blah, blah, blah. You disavowed the bad links on the 23rd of October. How much time can Google take to recover? I am not sure. How do you know for sure that it was Penguin that impacted you? So that's one question. And by the way, I'm not 100% sure how one can figure that out. So 23rd of October, so it's been a couple weeks or so. I don't know the answer, but I know here's one data point that is unrelated, maybe not that helpful, but I'll say it anyway. The thing that I've seen, when I've redirected an old domain to a new domain, the rankings would drop quite a bit for about 3 weeks, and they would slowly recover. And by the 4th week, usually it's back to where it was. I don't know if that applies here. Maybe not. So I would say it could be a longer journey to fix that up. Quick set of announcements here. We have frequently asked questions. There's links in the description, right? There's links in the description. So you can check out my productivity course. Here's a big recommendation on productivity. A lot of people are like, oh, in the new year, I'm really going to go do and all these things. I'm going to lose weight. You should start right now. If you want to, it's going to take you longer than you think. Trust me. You want to start your site. You're like, I'm going to wait till the new year, fresh start. Start now. Start on whatever date today, start on November 9th in the afternoon. Like start as soon as possible. You should really do that, and plan for next year. Because if you start planning for next year, like you're behind already. So my recommendation is to get started sooner. Productivity course, check it out if you're interested. Being more productive. Guest posting service closed right now. I can only have so many like customers at one time, so I very infrequently open it up. You can follow that link to get to like the wait list and sign up, and then I'll send out an email there. Niche site process. So if you're new and maybe you don't understand some of the stuff that I'm saying or some of the details that we're talking about here, check out the process there. The FAQ section, it'll take you, read it all weekend. Really good info there. You can sign up for the email list. And I think that's the majority of the stuff going on. All right, let me head back over. Oh, yeah, we're almost to 30 likes. So really appreciate that. Let's see what we got going on. All right, lots of questions here. Thanks again to the moderators. Keeping order. Thank your moderators. Really appreciate that. Okay. So I was doing a what do you call it? A live training yesterday. So I'll probably start doing like free webinars on Thursdays. All right. So usually I'll share it on a community post. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. You want to hit notifications. You want to try to comment on these community tab posts that I put up there, so that you'll start seeing more of these. So the point is, I did a free training yesterday on like an Amazon review format. And then here's the cool thing. I created a template live. I created a demo, or I did a demo of creating a template that one can give to a writer. So they hit a specific word count, and it's how like I give like writers information. And I know a lot of times people are like, oh, like what template do you use for writers? Can you share this or that with me? And I'm in my head, I'm just thinking, you just create, like you just write it, like you do whatever you want to do. Like you don't have to do it my way. But the thing I forget is I internalize a lot of the stuff that I've done in the past. For example, in my corporate gig, I created like hundreds of templates to do different stuff for different people all over the organization. And like, it's just second nature. If I want to have someone write a 2,500 word article, and I want them to follow a specific format, and I want to have specific word counts for each section, I just write it, and it takes a few minutes. But the cool thing is, in the presentation yesterday, I did that live. Now, the uncool thing, and the reason why I'm telling you this, is I did the setup for Webinar Jam, and the audio worked good, video was solid. And then it turned out people couldn't hear me that well. And sometimes people would pop on and then they would say, dude, your audio's messed up. And I'm trying to lightly troubleshoot things. I found out that I wasn't using this nice mic here. It was actually using the internal microphone on the laptop that's sitting like, 2 feet away from me over here. I could touch it, but it's not very close. I'm not talking into it. It's closed also. And I think the microphone's probably like in the closed area. So people couldn't hear me. So I'm going to do that whole presentation again. And if you're interested, be sure to look out for when I announce it. Again, probably on Thursdays, I'm going to be doing these free live training webinars, no pitch, and so on and so forth. Okay, coming back to the chat. And basically, for some reason, my machine, like instead of I didn't reboot it or anything like that. All of a sudden, instead of using this microphone, it switched over to the internal microphone, and no one could hear me. So it sucked. All right. Guys, what's up? Good to have you on. And I think I maybe missed some questions. Okay, so Kong is saying, adding links to a money post on an old existing post with traffic, is it suspicious to Google's perspective? I think if you did that on a large scale, things could be a little funny, right? But in general, those are better links to have from an existing post. than to just have like a new guest post go out there. Why is that? It has more authority, it's been established, and that sort of thing. So I think doing that is a good way to do it. All right. And Curious Devil, what else can you do to recover your site? It's hard to answer that really effectively. In general, I would say, you know, update with more content, like improve the existing content, get some backlinks, try and get some social traffic, and maybe beef up your about page that's very popular these days, and potentially, get some, like I said, traffic from social channels could be a good way to signal that it's actually a good site that people care about. All right. And Hi says you need to close the live chat window. If you want to like the video, you got to close the live chat, and then you could access the thumbs up. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for letting us know. Duke mentions to use the disavow tool, and if it's a manual penalty, then ask for reconsideration. And Duke, you're 100% right. Since he or she didn't mention a manual penalty, I assumed that was not the case. All right. Sam says, is it necessary to have a high PADA in order to rank well? No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. That's not your goal, really. And that's just a metric from Moz. So I would say, no, you don't need to. And you can find examples of that all over the place. Jared, what's up? Wrestling says, can I promote your site on Quora? Sure. Yep, you could do it. And Duke says you've diversified with eBay. You tried Walmart and Links, but they didn't convert well, and you'll add Mediavine soon. Very cool. Yeah, and I have dabbled a tiny bit with eBay, but it wasn't super relevant for a lot of the stuff I was dealing with. All right. Okay, and some people do see what I'm talking about with diversification. And I mean, obviously, it's hard to do that, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend you buy an apartment building and then open a restaurant and do all this stuff. But just to make a point, if you're not really diversified, in fact, if you had several businesses in one city, for example, I mean, that city could have some regulation. I'm just making up a bad example apparently, but the point is diversification, things actually have to be diversified. Okay, Andy says you couldn't choose a niche out of 3 ideas, so you went nuts and created all 3. It's a lot of work, but now you gravitate more to one site than the others. Good. Stick with that one then. All right. Exclusive says, can I give you an idea to write an article for Amazon niche product, blah, blah, blah. Just go to the niche site process page and then read the content section. Wrestling Empire says, you really like my channel. It's the best affiliate marketing on YouTube, and I should have more subs. Thanks. All right, going through. Monique says, you heard about me when I was interviewed on a podcast, and then I explained the KGR, which is the first that you've heard about it. It was a good episode. Thanks. All right. And KVT says it's Manoa from Fiji. Yeah, you emailed me a year ago. It was a long time ago. With a KGR, you're making $90 to $100 a month, and all the pages are on pages 1, or all the posts are on pages 1 or 2, and hopefully you rank more. Thanks. That's awesome. Because if I remember right, are you you're in college or something like that? And yeah, just tell a little of your story in the chat here, so people have an idea how long you worked on it and stuff like that. Andy mentions in that niche, one of the major manufacturers has an affiliate program, so you're able to diversify there. Perfect. Great. And Duke says you go to Facebook to argue politics. Yeah, and that's that's a great reason to stay out. In fact, I was thinking about, why people go to Facebook and stuff. And then I don't use my iPad all the time, but I saw like a little notification, like Facebook trying to tell me about politics. Like it said, like, you have a new representative and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I definitely don't want Facebook pushing messages at me or notifications on politics. Like, I mean, I see what they're trying to do, but come on. Like I said. All right. Jared seconds that about Facebook. Royal is new. Please guide you from where I start. So again, go to the link in the description. Read that this weekend. It's very long. Niche site process, and then come back next week. All right. Jill says it's good to concentrate on one site till it has enough content to look respectable, but it's no harm at that stage to begin phase one of a new site to start ranking the content. Potentially. Jared says, have I seen anybody recover a domain penalized for spam by Google? So yes, I have. You generally, what you need to basically have like mostly enough enough links to rank without the bad spammy links, and then you could disavow all those links that are bad and spammy, and then apply for reconsideration, and then you can eventually like get out of the penalty. All right. And then Jill says, when the first one is making money, you could sell it. And then the second one should be out of the sandbox and rinse and repeat. And it depends on exactly what you're trying to do, but in general, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. But if you have a specific, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. Okay. Let me catch up here. Okay. Imprez says, is it a good idea once a narrow site is doing all right to upgrade it to a broader niche, maybe even changing the domain name, or will that damage the rankings? So yes, you can go more broad, and I recommend that. That's a good way to approach it. Start narrow, widen it out once you get a foothold. You can change the domain name if you have to. You can like go to a new domain, redirect it, and generally your ranking should be fine. I've done this a few times, and generally it should be fine. Ideally, you name your domain something broad enough so that you don't have to change it. It's just a pain in the butt to do. So, but you can do that. Yeah. So Almedi says, do I think it's a good idea to reach people with product review ideas for guest post? Or should you stick to informative type keywords? You can do either one. And I recommend that you test it. So if you find that the product review ideas are doing awesome, then do it. Yeah, go for it. All right. Hi says, apparently your website category pages and AMP page are indexed will hurt your rankings. So I don't know much about the AMP page. The category pages it won't necessarily hurt your rankings, but you could cannibalize your keywords. So for example, if you're trying to rank for best ballpoint pen, all right, so if you're trying to rank for best ballpoint pen, but your category page that has ballpoint pens on it is ranking instead of your review post, you don't want that to happen. So I would say index the category and other archive pages. And then you may need to go to the search console and make sure that Google isn't indexing those. They'll figure it out. And that should be fine. Other people can add their details in if you want. All right, Thomas is on. By the way, just a reminder to hit the like button if you have the opportunity, or leave a comment. Alwayne gave a great recommendation for people. Just leave comments on as many of my videos as you can. Just say, hey, this is great. Like the video, like other people's comments, like all that stuff. Hi says your pages are scraping the bottom of the barrel. Hopefully it's something stupid like that. Yeah. Jared says, what do I think of Income School? Are they just trying to dumb down the competition by telling them that backlinks don't matter? So Income School guys are great. They're nice. They're very smart. We do things different ways, and I don't watch a ton of their videos. I watch a couple of them. We have a very broad overlap in our audience, so that's cool. As far as like dumb down the competition, I don't really know. What they're really good at explaining things and making things simple. I'm very good at making things complex and confusing. You could see by me trying to answer the questions that I'm not making it extremely simple. Most of my answers are it depends. But every now and then I say something intelligent. Now, as far as the backlinks don't matter, I think I have a video sort of like in response to their video, and I think their point was you shouldn't try and build backlinks, but backlinks are very important. All right. So if you watch the full video, which a lot of people like corrected me. In fact, I think Jim and Ricky hopped on my video and like explained it very well. But check that out. Yeah, but they seem fine. All right. Atta, what's up? Thomas says you hit the 4-month mark. You're getting 40 visitors a day. You made 5 sales last month. Awesome. Your question is, what are some click-through rates and conversion rates you should aim for generally? Okay. This is a very broad, it depends a lot, but I'll tell you. So for the click-through rate, someone lands on your site, what percentage like click over to Amazon? That could be anywhere from like 20 to 60%. The conversion rate as reported by Amazon can be anywhere from like 4.5 to like 12%. If you have the right visitors going to your site, you'll have, especially like with a KGR type term, you'll have like high conversion rates. So usually my conversion rate is like, 12, 11%. Over the holidays, it's climbed as high as like 16% over like November, December. So yeah, but it depends, right? I just gave you a huge range. And Duke is saying you're not doing consultations. You're in the middle of a transition. You're moving. Cool. Very nice. Marty, what's up? Good to have you on. Jill says, why is it not a particularly good idea? So let's say you have a site and it's starting to do well. Like usually your effort, like let's say, I'll be general. Let's say you have a new site that's out of the sandbox. Let's say you have a site that's 18 months old and it's making $2,000 a month. Probably, most likely, not always, but most of the time, if you put, say, 100 hours of effort and $1,000 of content on the established site, you're probably going to get a better ROI. Not always. You'll probably get a better ROI on the initial site than you will on the newer site. You could, right? And I know what you're getting at. You can sell the first site that's making $2,000 a month for maybe, let's see, what would that be? Maybe like $30,000, $40,000, something like that. And then you could reinvest into the new site, right? So you could do that, but you got to remember, you got to pay taxes. You'll end up, it's like buying a house or whatever. You have the broker fees, you're going to have to pay taxes. So after you sell something, like it's not as much money as you think. And yeah, you could reinvest into the new site, But in my opinion, it's like it's kind of nice to hang on to something and have the cash flow. All right. But Jill, everyone has a different situation that you're trying to like make it work. Wrestling Empire says I should do a video where I talk to many success stories from different people with different situations. That would be a good motivation for people. Cool. That's a great idea. There's actually a video like that. It's something like I think it's like 5 keyword golden ratio success stories where I take like a snippet or so of a video. But that is an interesting idea. And I have tried to figure out how to do like a best of show where I take like the best 5 minutes from interviews. And by the way, I've been reaching out to some of the folks who have been on the channel before. And actually they've reached out to me, but I need to catch up with people like Jaron and Duke and Marty, for example, Evan and Ellen. Hopefully I'll be able to get some updates sometime soon. So all right, Monique says you don't use backlinks at all right now, and your site has steadily grown since you started 2 years ago. Very cool. Jill says go look for more success stories. There's a lot of them. Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of them. O2, what's up? Good to have you on. Manic says, do I prefer to have a sidebar with the related articles, or is it the full page width with the article, blah, blah, blah? It doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you prefer. Honestly, it really doesn't matter that much. Elmedi says, any tips on finding blogs that accept guest posts or blogs closer to your niche to reach them? So a better question. Here's one of those times where I give you a better question than the one you asked. So you don't want to just find blogs that accept guest posts. You want to find good blogs that will actually publish your guest post, right? There's a lot of blogs that accept guest posts. And if you want to find those, you could just search for Write for Us pages, guest post. You can go to like any like guest posting guide, and then they'll tell you the most common things you could search for. But trust me, those are the most crowded channels, and I don't recommend that you use those. So if you want to find those sites, you could do that. If you want to find sites that can give you like unique links and maybe they'll actually publish your guest post, then I recommend you just network within the niche or something related to your niche. Think about the audience. So if you are looking at ballpoint pens for your site, then maybe you think about other people that are interested in pens. So writers, students, maybe like lawyers or something like that. And then network with people that have an overlap of an audience. That's what you should do. Okay, Wrestling Empire wants to have a video of all the people in one video in a very long video. All right. That's a cool idea. I'm not sure that'll happen exactly, but that's interesting. Okay. Marty says you removed your related post sidebar widget as you don't want people leaving a post. Yeah, I recommend that too. Is there such a thing as a good or bad keyword? Yes. Duke doesn't have sidebars that get pushed down into content on mobile. Yep. And Wesley wouldn't mind catching up. Another one of our success stories. Duke says after the first of the year will be best for you. Cool. All right. And then O2 says, is there a good or bad keyword? Yeah, I mean, if people aren't searching for a keyword, that's a bad one. All right. So that one's obvious. But you have to understand the intent of why you want someone on your site. So if you have a bunch of traffic, but you want people to buy stuff, but those people aren't interested in buying stuff, that's a bad keyword. Conversely, if you have like a buyer's keyword for Amazon, and then you're trying to show them ads and they don't really want to see those ads, they're not clicking on them, that is also a bad keyword. So you have to have the goal in mind, like many things. All right, Jared says, what themes are people digging? Let me, I got a cough here. Let me see if I can mute this. All right. Cool. And what I need to do is just reach out to everyone who's been on the channel and just say like, hey, I want to do a quick update. And I'm thinking, sort of, not exactly, but sort of to Wrestling Empire's um, idea to just do, especially for people that have already been on, just like Wesley, what are you working on? What'd you do in the last few months? And what are you going to do next year? And it's like 8 minutes long. Like that's it. And then at that point, it's like I can put them all together in a playlist. And actually, Wrestling Empire, that's what I've done. Like everything stands alone, but there are playlists that have like 8 interviews or whatever. So you can just start the playlist and then pretend like it's all in one video. All right. As far as themes, I have been playing around with like a rehab after talking to Marty and Duke, and then like just messing around with it. So it seems pretty good. Manny says, I apologize if it's already asked. That's all right, buddy. It wasn't asked. Thanks for mentioning it though. Why is Amazon the main affiliate source? And it's only the main affiliate source for the people that are here. Other people use other programs, and that is fine. So aren't they 4% commissions at most? The answer is no. It's like 1 to 10%, depending on the category. Shouldn't we focus on higher commission affiliates? So good question. I haven't answered this one recently, so that's great. Basically, people buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, so you get the scale that you don't get with other affiliate programs. So let's say you go to ClickBank and you find a product that pays out 90%. They're out there, all right? Or we'll make it more reasonable, 75%. And if you just make one sale, you get $75. So you're thinking, hey, I should go with that. It's paying out 75%. But the problem with that is there's not as many people searching for it, most likely. And then it's probably fairly competitive. And it's a limited number of products. It's probably one product. And it's only that one product. But with Amazon, people buy like all sorts of stuff. They buy like household goods. They buy like groceries. They can buy anything. Basically, you can buy like manufacturing products, right? So you get credit for everything in the cart. And over the holidays, people buy a lot more on Amazon than they do from other places, usually. So if you want to focus on higher commission affiliates, you can do that. That is totally valid, but it's usually a little more difficult. As Marty mentions, it's Amazon is a good place to start for beginners, and there are pros and cons to various programs. So yeah. So that's my answer. Monique, see you later. You have to go, but you'll be in for other Q&As. Thanks. See you around. Duke likes Rehub as well and Newspaper 9. We have other comments on Rehub. You loved it, but you needed to know more about Content Ag. Yep. Yeah, there's a learning curve. And I'm just doing the basic stuff with the Rehub there. And Andy mentions about Amazon affiliates. It's an audience volume thing. You're an affiliate for one manufacturer in a niche, but Amazon gets more traffic, to be honest. Yep, totally. And Elmedi says you see more people talking about a resource page on their blogs. You're a little bit confused and lost. Can I explain what it's about? All right, cool. So basically, let me get a link for you here. And by the way, I think people pop in and out. I just want to mention the productivity course. Do check it out. It's one. It's a course that I've launched a couple times, and now I've just opened it up. So if you want to get more done in less time and all that kind of business, definitely check it out. And I'm looking at the resource page for Niche Site Project. And because it's an example of this question that we've seen a couple times here today already. So Mehdi, go take a look at this resource page on this project. That is what people are talking about, basically. And you can see that I'm recommending some of my own products. I'm recommending free resources. I'm recommending a lot of stuff. I write a little section, a little paragraph or so, or a couple sentences for the product and like what I use it for. Some of them are affiliate products, like hosting. I think I may even have opt-in monster in there. So that is generally the idea with the resource page. That is probably what most people are talking about. For an Amazon affiliate site, again, as I mentioned before, people don't care. People are probably not reading your site and like looking, browsing all around. There's a few people, if you have enough traffic, there's a few people that will do that. My throat is just getting raw here. All right, what else do we have? I'll just get closer. And so, Mehdi, I think that is the main point with the about page. Thomas says, what's the best way to get visitors who land on your informational post over to your money post? So you would put links. I'll give you a couple recommendations, one you didn't ask for. So one, you just put links to related posts that are relevant to that audience member, right? So that's how you would get them over to a money post. However, if I may suggest, Thomas, a better idea, if you know what they're trying to do in your informational post, then you may know a product that helps them do something cheaper or faster or easier. So if you have a product that you can recommend, go ahead and put your affiliate link for the informational post in that content. So they don't even need to go to the, product review page. So that's my real recommendation. Ray says, is Google traffic really reliable for Amazon affiliate sites? Yes. You've been keeping tabs on some 3 sites. You were just curious, and I've reviewed 2 of them. Okay. So the answer is yes. Marcus, what's up? Good to have you on. You're late, but that's all right. Ray says their traffic at the start of the year has dropped. You're not sure if you can reveal the names here, but you wanted to know what would cause a drop, say from 50,000 to 1,000. Okay, cool. So no, don't reveal the sites here. I'm not 100% I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to, if it was like live reviews or whatever. And I think so don't put any sites in here, and generally those will be blocked. So what would cause a drop? I mean, just either a penalty or a lot of their links going away. There's dozens of reasons. So sorry if that's not super helpful, but part of the sites that I've reviewed on the channel, some of those are public case studies in a lot of cases. And those are often hit with negative SEO, which is why I try not to reveal any people's sites, and public case studies are kind of, they always get slammed because people just try and screw them up. They try and screw up what people are trying to do. Thomas says to check out Atomic Habits by James Clear. Cool. I saw that it was out, but I haven't checked it out at all. I read some James Clear stuff though. David's on. What's up? Okay. And so you say, El Medi says, I don't make things complex. Cool. You understand a resource page. People don't look around. So should I create one? No. I mean, if you, you could test it, right? If you're like, hey, I just want to see if this will work. You know what you could, if you have an email list, you could say, hey, check out my resource page, and maybe, a few dozen people every week will go over there. And maybe I need to do that for Niche Site Project. I don't know if I call out my resource page in an email, right? So if you have an email list, if you have some reason that you can get people over there, then perhaps it could be worthwhile. All right. Any other questions? I'm looking at my notes to see if I have any other things to mention here. I don't think so. Productivity course. Yeah, do check it out. Jared says, any thoughts on WordPress 5 coming out soon? No, I didn't even know it was coming out soon. When is that? I did play around with Gutenberg as like the new uh, editor, a little more visual, and it was generally fine. Generally fine. But as I was trying to do certain things, like they have some cool stuff. Like you can add buttons, you can add tables, you can change like the font color and size more readily. It's more like a word processor. And like I said, generally it was fine. You can do some functionality that isn't like super unique, but it's not in the regular WordPress editor. But after I used it more and more and I was trying to do some formatting, I was like, screw this. I just need to go back. Like I'm fine editing some HTML sometimes. And so I'll head over to the text version, the text editor more often. And it was a little more difficult to do that. And I just wanted to get the crap out of the way. So I didn't even know that it was coming out. Right. And Jared says you didn't care for Gutenberg, but yeah, I was excited. And I'm like, I'm hoping that'll turn out better once they work out the kinks and stuff. David says, can I talk about expired domains? To start a new site as a newbie, don't do it. If you're a newbie, if you're asking about using expired domains, don't do it. What you can do is buy an existing domain, maybe from an auction, but don't get an expired one. Maybe you could buy a blog that's poorly monetized or something like that, but I don't recommend that you like go and use an expired domain. A lot of times those are going to they're going to have some issues that aren't apparent. If you already know how to check for all that stuff, maybe then you could do it. But I don't recommend a expired domain. All right. David then says, do they still work though? Yes, unless they don't. And that's the problem. So I've heard from more than one person who got an expired domain that have like not apparently been penalized or had issues, or basically a site has been spammed in the past. And they worked on a site and then they couldn't figure out what was wrong. They were waiting for the sandbox to like clear. And then they ended up working like 12, 18 months on a site that they never could figure out what the problem was. And they just wasted a ton of time. So generally, again, if you can buy an existing site, then that's going to be better than basically there's risk involved. If you can get it to work, then you look like a genius. But if it doesn't work, you just don't know. So I still don't recommend it unless you're willing to. It's a gamble. And I have no clue the success rate. Duke says a note about Gutenberg, don't upgrade unless you know that it works with your theme or page builder. Good call. That very good recommendation. Any kind of beta, it's in beta still. So any kind of beta stuff, you run the risk of having some issues. And I turned it on without checking. Luckily it worked, and then I turned it off and it was fine. All right, hi has to run, and I think I'm in a jet too. Thanks everyone for hopping on. I think we hit all the questions here. Reminder, look out for free training next week. Be sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you have the opportunity this weekend and moving forward, just leave comments on any of the videos that you watch on my channel. Even if it's just a short one, like, hey, thanks for doing this video. That's it. Also give the thumbs up. Just curious, like if I can get a little more momentum on that, that would be great. Okay, and I see one more came through. AT says, my comment on expired domains, you have good experiences with expired domains. You have to thoroughly check the metrics. Indeed, yeah. Thomas says your new posts have been indexing and ranking fast, like in 2 hours. Have I noticed this? No, I got to be honest. I don't check that often. So I just publish stuff and then check back in like 2 to 4 months. I really don't look that often. So, all right. Thanks everyone for hopping on. Smash the like button and all that good stuff. Thanks for hanging on for so long. And any tips for making email or guest post outreach? Ask for next week, my man. Mehdi, ask for next week, and then I'll answer it then. Generally, don't ask for anything. Network with people. Don't ask for anything for a long time, and then you'll be better. All right. Thanks. See you later. Have a great weekend.